Something very special for this particular podcast episode, celebrating the release of Jordan St. Cyr's new project, My Foundation. How would you like to win a digital copy? Keep listening to this episode. I'll tell you exactly how to get it in your email box coming up.
What else with Corey, man? This guy can podcast like nobody can. What else with Corey, man? You will look deep inside of yourself and feel something you've never felt when he asked what else with Corey, man.
Jordan St. Cyr, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Let us quickly describe, for those that are listening and not seeing this, but you have a window behind you. Is this your house?
This is my house. This is my tiny little backyard. Yeah.
I am really hoping for a dog sighting or one of the four kids, just a playful something, please.
Wearing no pants, just running by. Totally. We got snakes back there. We got spiders, everything, man. It's crazy.
Are you like in the country or?
We're in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So
Okay.
it's a little, but no, we're in suburbia here. Like we're not, like the high school is right behind us. So I think all the wildlife is terrified of the teenagers and they hide out right here. Yeah.
And when there is a snake sighting,
Yeah.
what happens with the St. Cyr family?
We all yell like little girls and run away. Yeah, no, we're terrified. They're so unpredictable. You know what I mean? It's like, no thank you. No, man.
Unfortunately, I don't deal with snakes where I'm at, but so I'm wondering, do you take a photo of it? Do you Google it and go, okay, are we in danger? Is this
Absolutely.
I've
got photos of snakes on my phone. You know, there was the neighbor did some landscaping and he had like this mesh put down on the grass and the poor snake just died in it because it couldn't get out. Just like suffocated, crawled in there, got caught, and that's it. But yeah, I think for the most part, these snakes are harmless.
Okay.
No rattles on the end.
So
Yeah.
you've got the window I'm looking at, and I see a couple of beautiful guitars. I love that electric guitar model that you have there. Is this your music room?
No, this is actually in our living room. So my wife is amazing. She's like, "Hey, you gonna put some guitars on the wall?" I'm like, "Yes." This guitar is it's from a company in Spring Hill, Tennessee called Bluesman Vintage, and they just sell you beat up, not broken, but like vintage looking guitars, and it's made out of a wood called polonium. And so, dude, because I play acoustic guitars are so light, electric guitars are so heavy, polonium is so light. This guitar is less than 4 pounds. It's super light, and so
That
super
guitar
easy to
looks
play.
exactly like, in my mind's eye, a Springsteen guitar from
Yeah.
Born in the USA. And also, I think Prince played a guitar like that, maybe with
There
a
you
few
go.
more leopard stripes. But I love that. And then you have one right behind you. What's right behind you there? The green one?
This guy.
Is there a green? No. Or is it just another polonium?
This guy? So get this. This guitar was a hunk of wood in my father-in-law's gun shop for decades. And he has a buddy down the street. This is in his small town of Mitchell, Manitoba, Canada. He has a buddy down the street who started making guitars. And so he brought that hunk of wood over and he made this guitar. And let me grab it. And he gave it to me.
Look at that.
Crazy. So it's just like a homemade, and it's just awesome, man.
Beautiful. And that was Guitar Talk with Jordan and Corey.
That's right. Our new podcast. That's about all I know about guitars is these three right here.
My parents bought me an acoustic guitar because I started dabbling, and it had these. It was from like Sears, the Sears catalog. It was,
Yeah.
and they said, here, it's a $25 guitar. Let's do lessons and see if you stick with it. And I stuck with it, Jordan. And I started saving up my money for my very first electrical guitar. It was like a Yamaha SBG 500, beautiful,
Amazing.
all white. And I treated that thing like royalty. And I'll never forget this. I'm going to meet my buddies in the band I'm in, the Christian rock band Witness.
Let's go.
Hold for applause. I fell down the stairs. And
No.
the guitar and I just fumbled, and I broke the neck, And I remember crying, and my dad's like, I've never seen you this emotional over something of material, whatever. And
Right.
he's like, but I get it. You know, you bought it with your own money, so let me get in my wood shop and work on it. And it never quite got back to where I needed it to go. And I kept it, but man, that broke my heart that day.
Dude, I did a show in Tulsa. This would have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. Got off the plane, got to the venue, got on stage, pulled the guitar out of the case, and the neck was pulled forward, and there were two huge cracks down the shoulders of the guitar. It was destroyed. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not playing this today. First time in 14 years of traveling on planes with a guitar. First time. Needless to say, that week I had to buy a new guitar, and I bought a pretty mean looking case for it. So yeah, so it can get repaired. So it's getting repaired right now. It's going to cost me a boatload of money just to fix it, but I really love that guitar. And
Yeah,
so
14 years of memories and songs, and you know, name one or two songs written on that guitar. Name a couple.
all of them.
All of them.
The first album, all of them, you know, that guitar touch for sure. Yeah.
So did you borrow somebody's?
Yes. So honestly, dude, within 5 minutes, I had two guitars brought to me. Like I'm like, you guys are amazing. And so, yeah, I had a little baby Martin that I played that show, and I'm like, it did the trick. It's great. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, did you all know this was broken already and have these on standby or what? It was amazing.
I love that you're a family man. How are the wife? How are the kids?
The wife is amazing. The kids are amazing. We're going to be celebrating 17 years this year. So that's crazy. We blinked and that happened. Our oldest is turning 14. He's very 14 right now.
What's he into? What's he into?
Loves sports. You know, huge hockey fan. We did his birthday with his friends at Geodis Park, the Nashville SC soccer team. So we went and saw a game. That was amazing. That's his thing. That and Fortnite, right? Clearly. And then our other boy, Liam, he just, you know, he's into archery. So he got to, you know, play nationals this year, and his team made it to Worlds. Like, we didn't even know that this was a thing. He'll probably go out and live in the bush somewhere off the grid. You know, he's that kind of guy, go fishing every day. And then our girls are doing so good, man. They're 9 and 5, and they just love your presence. Being told I love you and held so tight, like they're just so precious, man. And everybody's doing so well.
For now. I'll say that about girls.
Dude, I believe you. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready.
We have a 26-year-old that, you know, my wife and I have had multiple conversations about how do we, you know, she's married, she's off living her adventure, and we totally get that, but it's like, man, throw mom and dad a bone, please. You know?
Oh my gosh, I'm not ready.
You used to be a construction worker for a number of years. I'm a firm believer in everything that you've done in your past leads up to where you're at right now. You're a songwriter, musician, new album, here we go.
Yeah.
When you look back at the construction worker season of your life, is there anything that stuck from that you use in artistry? For example, off the top of my head, I'm imagining a work ethic in construction work.
Yeah.
I've always heard this about you, and I think I've seen it. Your work ethic is pretty high. Would you say that passed over?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was in the thick of it, I cursed it. You know what I mean? Like I hated having to wake up, put on the dirty jeans, put on the dirty shirt, you know, go work the dirty job. I just wanted to have a shower in the morning and go to work like everybody else, you know. But man, am I so grateful. I tell everybody, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I get to do what I do. Grew up in a very small town. It was farming or it was construction. My dad was in construction. I had worked laying floors since I was 13, did a bunch of other jobs, eventually landed, you know, installing floors for myself, working for myself for 15 years. And, you know, my wife, who's, you know, way closer to heaven than I'll ever be, just always shared with me, like, Jordan, you're trying to share a message that's really deep, and you're gonna have to live some life. So you probably will not see any success till you're in your mid-30s. And that hurt. That hurt a lot because I was probably, maybe 28 at the time. I'm like, I'm gonna have to suffer a little more. But you know what? Just the idea of serving people, how we serve people well, walking into people's homes first thing in the morning, their kids are running around, they're just trying to get their life together, and I'm coming in to do a job. That taught me so much, how to be on time, how to serve graciously, because there's so many things that go wrong, during the course of a day, especially when you're doing like a renovation for someone and you've got to break the news to them. And so you get good at having tough conversations, but do it in a loving way. People are not opportunities. You know what I mean? They're not stepping stones. They're people. And they are the most precious commodity that we have in this life. And so I don't identify as a musician or a songwriter. I identify as, a child of God. And I'm trying so hard every day to just stay in that place, because I know that's where I'm going to stay humble. That's where I'm going to stay, right with God. And I'm going to be able to pray thy will be done. Yeah.
Is this the first album with a record label?
Technically, no. The first album, the majority of it was written before the record label, but it was released with the label. And so that first album was written between the years of 2018 and 2021. So there was a wide gap there. Yeah, so this label is the first effort where we had the full team on board. So we hope it's better. We hope. We'll see.
Grade the experience. I know Brandon, and I know a good number of your team, but
yeah.
What was the experience like?
From the beginning or right now?
How about right now?
Right now? Dude, it's so good. They are so kind and so generous, and I love everything about it. I think we talk a lot about, the pros and cons of dealing with a smaller label or a bigger label, but the pros far outweigh the cons, because there's an autonomy that I feel, and I feel that I can be myself, and they really support that. I just have nothing but good things to say. Awesome. And honestly, Tooth and Nail was my childhood. So this is just, history for me. So, yeah.
Have you nerded out in front of Brandon yet of like, hey, remember when you were 21?
Yeah. I think I did early on. I'm not sure how he took that, because, but I think I need to do it again, now that we're solid in our relationship and I've got him some wins. So.
How many songs did you walk into this project with?
I had about 35, 40 songs, and we whittled it down. And it was kind of that balance of like, you want to pick your radio songs, you want to pick your story songs that tell your story. And, just those album cuts that mean so much to you. That's a beautiful thing about a record. And I think records are still, worth it, even in this day and age, because, music on the radio matters, but music that doesn't hit the radio matters so much. Hopefully we picked the right songs. We'll see.
The name of the album is called The Foundation. Any ties to that construction worker version of you to that song?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? We did a lot of our album content in a house around the block from our house that was just being built, so it was just studs. And that was intentional. This was just me coming back to what I've always known, that smell of fresh cut wood. There's like this, hint of sweat, kind of lingering. It really is just, I think, a record that hopefully honors the season that God allowed me to have, which I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful to be the age I am, bringing the message I am bringing, having walked through a season of kind of like, my dreams were deferred or my hope was deferred. You know what I mean? It was like I was saved, I think, from being a younger person, bringing this forward for me. And now I get to have all this experience in my corner, and to really bring hopefully some meaty songs.
Is mom and dad still a big audience? Is
yes.
the siblings a big audience?
Yes. So my dad will give me crap if I don't send him the new demo of the song the day I wrote it. You know what I mean? Like my dad is my sounding board. So he probably doesn't know this, but like he's helped me pick a lot of these songs without realizing what he's doing. Like his affirmation of when he hears a song means so much to me. But he also has a songwriter's ear. He's been a songwriter. He's been the artist, for years, and it means a lot. And those songs where I'm like, okay, this feels like an undeniable song. Those I'll send to my siblings and be like, hey guys, what do you think of this? Because they're my brothers have like a real good sense of just culture and the musical landscape that we live in, and so they're way harder, I think, on me than my dad will be. But my family is my go-to, and obviously my wife. She will tell me when it is not good, and that hurts. It hurts so bad. So I'm very like,
is she right?
Yes, that's the problem. That is the problem. And so if there's like a demo that like I have to already apologize for, I don't show it to her. I'm like, no, you can hear this when it's done, because I know it's got to be right, because she'll be like, oh, what about that? Oh, yeah, we're changing that. Oh, that lyrics. Oh, yeah, we're changing that, So she is a great sounding board.
I mentioned the siblings because in case listeners don't know, you were in a band with your brothers
That's right.
way, way, way back in the day. Name of the band was?
Red Riot.
That's right. Before we go any further, I have gotten my hands on some recorded music from the band Red Riot featuring lead singer Jordan St. Cyr.
Picture the sight of an angel on your shoulder and a devil on the other. You think hell is freezing over. Oh, you're screaming 'cause all your favorite things can't let go, and so you fly your ballroom wings. All your favorite things say the worst is over. To cover up your chronic pain and your constant paranoia. To never at your side when you feel down and say sorry. All your favorite things are making you sick and boring. Shut up the lights and crawl into the corner. Try to
All right, I've got a handful of digital copies of Jordan's new album, My Foundation. Thank you, BEC Records. All you have to do is email me your name, first and last name, to whatelsewithcoreyman@gmail.com. I got a few digital copies I want to send to you. Email your first and last name to whatelsewithcoreyman@gmail.com. In the first episode of the new Bon Jovi Hulu documentary, there's some interaction with his wife. Bon Jovi has a big show in Nashville. He comes off the stage, high on himself, and the band, you see it in the hallway, they're like, best show ever, it's so great, best show ever, oh, it's so great. Walks into the dressing room, and his wife's waiting, and she goes, that was horrible.
Oh,
That
dang.
was horrible. And he took that in. That leads me to ask you this. What is a relationship like being married to a touring artist? What are those discussions and decisions like?
God bless her. Okay, so early on, when we just, we're first married, we're starting having kids, we were both very hesitant, on how this life would look. And I would leave and my wife would be stressed out. It's like, you're leaving me. And you know what, we had this amazing conversation as I was leaving one time where I just said, Heather, you have the veto card. When this whole thing doesn't work, you get to call it in and I will get off the road. I will stop doing it. Family is first. God is at the center of all of this. You are the only person in this world that has the power to say that, and I will believe you. We kind of grew our trust and grew our faith in each other since then. I think that's just allowed her to kick my butt out the door, knowing that she truly is my person. And so now we're at a point where the trust is built. She loves the message that I get to bring and she believes in it. And so she kicks my butt out the door, but I know full well that what I said matters. I'm letting my yes be yes and my no be no, and I've given it to her. I think it's just created a very healthy relationship. And again, my identity, this is an overflow of my identity, but this is not at the core of who I am in music or as a songwriter. The mission of loving God, love people, we can do that any way. There's a million ways to do that. And I hope I get to keep singing. I hope I get to keep doing this. But if I don't, we'll be all right. Yeah.
Is there a pivotal moment or a song on this new record that you cannot wait for people to hear?
Man, there's just so many moments for me. There's two songs that really stick out because they're a departure. One of my favorite songs is a song called Easy.
Oh, what kindness to put the past behind us. You move everything out of the way that was ever between us. Oh, what goodness, the way that you pursue us. You drop everything like there is nothing you'd rather be doing. You make it easy to be with you. Jesus, it's easy to be with you.
It's just kind of this bluesy, jazzy song. And it's a song that we wrote. I came into the writing session with nothing. Like I had zero energy. My voice was shot. I had no ideas because I'd been writing a ton and I had nothing. And one of my writers was just like, well, the good thing is coming to Jesus is easy, And I'm like, okay, that'll preach, that'll work. And I had a good friend of mine, Drew Pickens, write the piano part for this. And it's just this real gospel-y start to the song. And again, what I love about it, it's just a departure. Yet in its essence, it's a worship song. It is worship. Another song, again, these are album cuts because these are more, again, album cuts saved lives. There's a song called Generations to Generations and Generation to Generation.
Lately I've been thinking about the coming days. The world my kids will grow up in, what they might face. Getting hard to find some hope cause it's getting dark. But if I keep my eyes on you, courage fills my heart. From generation to generation, we always have been held, and we forever will. You're never changing, you're never changing, no matter what may come, you are the faithful one.
It was birthed out of a conversation I had with my grandpa. My grandpa came over. We don't have this deep relationship. There was family stuff. Through the majority of my life, I did not know who he was. And near the end of his life, we kind of got to know each other. He came over and he made this bold statement that really did not sit well with me. And he just said, I can't imagine, raising kids this day and age. I'm so glad I don't have to do it, and I'm like, this is a guy who lived through the Great Depression. This is a guy who lived through World War II, stuff that I'm like, this is big stuff. But I think something in my spirit just rose up. I'm like, the same God that got you through those hard times is the same God that will get my kids through and their kids and their kids. That's the gospel. That's the message. That the faithfulness of God will hold true no matter what we go through. And that's the heartbeat of that song.
You are the second artist that has said this in recent episodes, and I would love to let's see where you go with it.
Okay.
When you show up to a songwrite and your words, I got nothing. The tank is empty. How do you battle the enemy going, see, you really don't have anything?
Totally. Our greatest weakness is always our greatest strength. And where we lack, relationship fills the void. So when we walk in a room and there are clearly two other brilliant people, they've come from far away, because nobody who lives in Nashville is from Nashville. And they've pursued this dream, right? And they've grinded and they've hustled, and God has refined them. You lean on that relational equity or whatever that thing is, you're gonna land something great. I truly believe that. Like, I would say nine times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, we'll come out with something that I really love. And the odd time, we won't write something special. But I think when you lean in relationally, you're going to come out with something great.
When the voice says to you, you don't have what it takes, the other voice says there's power in community, and this is going to work.
Yeah, and it's probably right. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't have what it takes, but together we do.
When the big brimmed hat comes off and you've thrown it across the room and it sticks into the wall with its sharp edge.
Yes.
What else are you interested in?
Man, I love sports. I love hockey. Hockey's my jam. I love our Winnipeg Jets. They're typically not great. They did all right this year, but they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Man, I love sporting events. I love concerts. I love hanging out with my kids. I love hanging out with my wife. We quit drinking coffee, and so we now drink coffee on Saturdays. So we have coffee Saturdays. And it's no longer a crutch. I wake up with the joy of the Lord in my heart, and I'm ready to go. But man, do we look forward to coffee Saturdays, because we just sit and we hang out and we chat and we dream and we live, and it's good. So watching these kids grow up before my eyes is a wild experience.
I love you, pal, but I just had a cold chill come over my body when you said you gave up coffee. I was like, wait, what?
I know. You know what? I went through I was so dehydrated, I would lose my voice so quick. And so I took drastic measures. But honestly, let's say you're on the road and you're on the bus and you wake up and there's no coffee and there's no coffee shop around, and it hits 9:00 and all of a sudden you got a headache. And I'm like, I'm sick of this life. I got to make a change. I'm like, if I don't have access to my drug, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm just an addict. And so for me personally, I just wanted to shift. I wanted to really enjoy coffee as opposed to need it. And it's been a game changer.
Final question. Who needs to hear this record?
Man, who needs to hear this record? I think those of the faith that need encouragement, that feel like their tank is running on empty, that just need a reminder that we were made for this. Like, we were made for a savior. We were made for the promise that God gives us. I shared this at the Momentum Lunch, but Tim Keller, one of my favorite speakers, pastors, shared this, that if we reject Jesus, we will spend the rest of our days looking for him. And I think that's it. We were made to be saved. We were made to be given life. And we can only find that through him. And I hope that the record conveys that message.
Personal favorite, right out of the gun, to save my life. That's an anthem.
Let's go.
I couldn't fight to save my life, no matter how hard I tried. Each battle brought me to my knees, 'cause I was standing in pride. Till I cried out to heaven, threw my hands in the air, and you shouldered the burdens I could no longer bear. Upon a cross that should have been mine. To save my life, you gave up yours, fought my fight and won my war. The empty grave is living proof there's nothing you wouldn't do. To save my life, to save my life, gave yours for mine. To save my life, you reached down into the pain.
Well, the label feels pretty confident about that as the next single. So,
Oh, good. Good.
boy, man, you called it here.
I'm happy to hear that. I hope that, and if not, I can do what I want when I want. So
That's right. So that song, I cut from the album.
really, it's not even supposed to be there.
And the label was like, this song is our choice for the next single. I'm like, let me think about that. we went back into the studio, retooled it a little, and now it's first track on the album. I love it. Yeah.
You weren't even supposed to be here.
So good.
Jordan St. Cyr, when can someone go to a website and see when you're strumming a guitar and singing songs?
Absolutely. Head to my website, jordanstcyr.com, and we'll always keep you up to date on Instagram. So, yeah.
A pleasure. Congratulations on the new record, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man.
It's called The Foundation, and I'd love to hear from our audience what song resonates with you once you get your ears on it. Might I suggest song number 1?
There it is. Love it. I love it, dude. Thank you so much.
You got it. All right. I've got a handful of digital copies of Jordan's new album, My Foundation. Thank you, BEC Records. All you have to do is email me your name, first and last name, to whatelsewithcoreyman@gmail.com. I got a few digital copies I want to send to you. Email your first and last name to whatelsewithcoreyman@gmail.com.
What Else with Corey Mann? With your host, Corey Mann. Original music and theme song by Chris Klein. Share this episode with a friend, and thanks for listening.